Hello all and welcome, and I am the mgtowphilosopher, and in this video I would like to talk about an article I came across from 2015 that's titled 7 Things Feminists Hate to Hear and Absolutely Can't Talk About. Now I found it interesting because everything it says are things I've already said in my videos. It's always interesting to come across an article someone else wrote who is essentially saying the exact same things you are, essentially proving your point, but you don't know who this person is, you've never spoken to them, and you've never seen their work. So I'd like to read it to you guys so you see exactly what I'm talking about from another person's point of view, exactly what I've talked about in the past, but coming from a woman. Now, I don't automatically assume that every woman who claims to dislike or hate feminism is a chameleon, just that most of them are. Anyway, let's see what she has to say. As an outspoken critic of feminism, I have quite a bit of experience interacting both online and in the real world with feminists who tend not to take even the mildest criticism of the ideology kindly. Yeah, it's an ideology. It's dogma. They're like Christians. They're like religious people in that sense. You can't say anything wrong, anything critical about the way they see things. Of course, they're allowed to use critical theory and attack you in every way, sense, shape, and form, but of course, that's perfectly fine. Because they know the absolute 100% truth of the universe and you know nothing because you disagree with them. The recent events at the Calgary Expo, this was back in 2015, so I don't know, where an anodyne critique of feminism was too eager to embrace victimhood, resulted in a female comic book creator and her colleagues being banned for life from all expos across Canada. Well, there you go. I said before that Canada is one of the top 5, if not the top feminist country in the world, further proving my point. Run by those particular organizers, offers proof that feminisms cannot tolerate the slightest critique of their ideology. That's because it falls apart. It's like a house of cards, okay? It's like a house of cards loaded with contradictions. Can't stand on its own when the light is shed upon it, okay? But as Tyrion Lannister observed, when you tear out a man's tongue, you are not proving him a liar. You're only telling the world that you fear what he might say. Precisely. Here are 7 critiques in particular feminists hate hearing and fight to silence. If they're so right about everything, if their dogma is 100% correct, wouldn't they have no problem whatsoever hearing you speak because, you're wrong anyway? No, that's not how it works. So, number 1, feminists say one thing and do another. This is something I'm always talking about. Feminists absolutely hate when you point to evidence of feminists actively, enthusiastically opposing equality. Well, everything they do is not about equality, it's about inequality. Making men inferior while they're making women superior. Now, NOW now opposes shared parenting. What? If they're all about equality, wouldn't they be all about men getting custody half the time? Oh no, because it's called feminism, not neutralism or something that was unbiased. Feminists believe in equality. No. Hillary says women are the primary victims of war. What? Yeah, I remember hearing that. That's the biggest bunch of nonsense I ever heard. Jeez, why are all the men dying? Why are all the men's the one dying then? Oh, the women that are left behind are the real victim, not the guy whose bones are rotting in some garbage heap in Afghanistan because they never found his body. Yeah, okay, I see. But the women are the real victims. Okay. Oh, well, women are still protected from the draft. Feminism is about equality. It's okay. Yeah, right. Feminism is about equality. My ass. It goes on to say, it's okay to cut the genitals of babies as long as the babies are male. It's totally not the same thing. Really? So cutting off a woman's clit or cutting off a man's foreskin, those are somehow different? How? Oh, well, one's a woman. She's more important than the man. Oh, I see. They will hold the dictionary in one hand and stuff cotton wool in their ears while with the other screaming, la, 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 I can't hear you, and then just suggest that you fuck off. Which is always charming. Well, so far, I agree with everything she said. She's 100% right on the money from my personal experiences. Number 2, women are just as, if not more violent than men. I made a video entitled that, almost the exact same title. Women are more violent than men, proof of this. I suggest you guys watch it. It says the exact same thing and gives proof of it, as I say in the title. Fact, men on average are bigger and stronger than women, yes. Fact, women who get in physical fights with men end up with the shitty end of the stick. Not really, because the man oftentimes doesn't hit her back. Fact, the Violence Against Women Act uses a set of standards to evaluate domestic violence that always results in the man being arrested, no matter who started it, of course. Right. Oh, but we're privileged, right? We have patriarchy. And patriarchy makes us a privilege in every way, shape, or form. The society is designed to serve us. But if that's the case, wouldn't it benefit us, all these laws, and not women? All these things can be true and still not foreclose the reality that women are, on average, more violent than men. They overwhelmingly tend to prefer beating up and killing even children. Of course, they start the majority of fights with men that result in the men getting arrested. Children who can't fight back, but they don't really hold back when it comes to beating on men either. Remember the feminist writers and editors at Jezebel who gleefully recounted beating up their boyfriends? Yeah. 70% of domestic violence in which only one person throws a punch is carried out by women. Did you hear that? 70% of all domestic violence, women started, and they are the only ones throwing hands, but the man somehow gets arrested. Interesting. It's as I said in my video, women are far more violent than men. 70%. Good Lord. That's all domestic violence. Isn't that interesting? In which only one person throws a punch is carried out by a woman. Men allow women to hit them because they know if they fight back, they will be the ones arrested, charged, in jail. No, they'll go to jail anyway. It won't make any difference. Number 3, there is institutional sexism against men. Well, duh. It's an oft-repeated truism that one cannot be sexist against men. What? How is that? What really? Why? Could you explain the logic behind that? Oh, well, you know, the institution in the Western societies are set up in such a way that men have all the privileges. So you really couldn't be sexist against them because they have all the power. Except that's not true. That's a lie. Because there are no institutional forces that discriminate against men for no reason other than they are men. Bullshit. Everything discriminates against men. That's just a total lie. And that's just a lie that women repeat and fools believe because it's been repeated enough. 100% classic critical theory. But related to the above, if legal discrimination vis-a-vis domestic violence is not institutional discrimination, what is? I mean, men are far more likely to be charged, convicted, and jailed at disproportionately longer rates for the exact same offense than women. If the criminal code and its application are not institutional powers, then what is? Right. Men go to jail for many times the length that women do for the same crime. They go to jail, period, more often when a woman will just get a slap on the wrist. She goes on to say, schools discriminate against boys and some girls by forcing them to take psychotropic medications to participate in female-centric education. You mean like Ritalin and Adderall? Yeah. The Board of Education is not an institutional power. Men's health care is globally underfunded. Duh. By about 10 to 1. The World Health Organization is not a global institutional power. In their relentless quest to pursue the cult of victimhood, to the edges of the known universe, feminists will deny that men face institutional biases that make sexism not only possible, but inevitable. I have nothing to say. It's all correct. So far, there's nothing I disagree with. Number 4, most feminists haven't read any feminist theory and have no idea what they're talking about. So the writer of this book is obviously a feminist, so I'm calling Chameleon, or at the very least, an anti-feminist. So she's a feminist. So, you know, she's just playing at anti-feminism because third-wave feminism is too radical, and today's feminists have become just too nutty, too crazy with their nonsense. So she's trying to, yeah, she still wants to be in power. She still wants to be superior to men, or at the very least equal, which still means superior, because the only way you can make them both equal is to chop the guy's legs off so they're both the same height, okay? So the only way you can make men and women equal is to disenfranchise men, okay? That's the only way you can do it, because you cannot make women stronger, faster, smarter. So your feminism is still evil, and it's still destructive to men. But I'll continue to read what you're talking about simply because you're telling the truth. But you're still a biased person, and you're still a feminist. Most feminists haven't read any feminist theory and have no idea what they're talking about. Yeah, it's all nonsense anyway, honey. As a recipient of an undergraduate degree in film theory, i.e. women's studies and cultural Marxism by stealth, I am extremely well read in most feminist literature. It's all nonsense. I've read the older misandrous feminists like Dworkin. Oh, God. Dworkin, for those of you who don't know, is a big, fat land whale slob. Looked more like Jabba the Hutt than a human being. Okay? Jabba the Hutt and his paste Shrek 1's male face on Jabba the Hutt. And you got Dworkin. She was a big, fat, ugly, fucking feminist and also a lesbian who recommended that all women become muff munchers because men are so evil. Yeah, no bias there. And McKinnon, and of course, we were assigned the Scum Manifesto to read when we studied Andy Warhol. His film sucked, don't bother. Oh, of course not. For those unaware, Solanas shot Warhol as feminist statement. as a feminist statement, okay? I've read modern feminists like Gilligan, Flax, and Haraway, and I've even waded through the unintelligible gibberish of Butler, Irgari, and Kristeva. I don't know who any of these people are. I'm not a raving feminist like you trying to pretend that I'm not, when I really just have a problem with third-wave feminism screwing it up for me, okay? In fact, Kristeva was the keynote speaker at my graduation. She nearly caused a medical emergency when the entire cohort collapsed into a coma listening to her fashionable nonsense. Yeah, Kidding, obviously, but damn, she was born and she droned off her yada, yada, yada. I could give a crap. Next. You're boring me, honey. Now you, with your fashionable nonsense, are boring me. Number 5, feminists deny that women sexually objectify men. Well, not only do women sexually objectify men, i.e. those male strip clubs where those guys are making tons of bank. Oh, but they don't objectify men at all. Michael Bubble. It says Michael or Michaela. Michael Bubble. It's an interesting name. Recently met with a storm of controversy after posting an image of a woman with her ass cheeks hanging out of the back of her shorts. The feminists were very upset at Bubble's sexual objectification of the woman. Tweet after tweet asserted a woman's right to wear whatever she wants without being judged or objectified. Well, she has the right to... This is so stupid. Yeah, she has the right to wear whatever she wants. And I have the right to look at her and view her and think whatever the fuck I want. You're not going to control what I think. I'm not going to let you control what I think. Enough with the thought police, bitches. Oh, really, feminists? Really? And I suppose rocket scientists who wear shirts made for them by their lady friends will be extended the same courtesy. It goes on to say, the hypocrisy of feminists is rarely more evident. Bring up the topic of sexual objectification, and feminists will turn cartwheels trying to explain why it's wrong for grown men to admire the fit, tight bodies of young women, but perfectly okay for grown women to openly express sexual desire for underage vampires. And don't forget, objectification is objectification. Women objectify men doubly, both for their money and for their bodies. But mostly for their money. They care more about the money than they do the bodies. It would be nice if they had the nice body, but they don't really care as long as he has money. So women are doubly worse than men, as I've always said. Number 6, feminists don't understand what no means no means. When women like Shailene Woodley, Kelly Clarkson, Katy Perry, and even the holy feminist matriarch Madonna, that old whore. Yeah, we really need to be preached to by that old slut. I think not. Well, remember that time she went on TV and she essentially made the announcement she wants to bang Dennis Rodman, and she eventually ended up banging him? I mean, talk about a whore. Herself says she is not a feminist. Really? I beg to differ. Feminists react by calling these other women stupid, ignorant, male attention craving traitors, because nothing is more likely to convince other people of the merits of your argument than calling them dumb and ill-informed, right? I can't count the number of people have tagged me on social media with their rapey insistence that I must accept feminism. And by the way, I hate that word rapey. Okay? I hate that freaking word because in the law, a woman can't commit rape. She can only commit a form of sexual assault that is a lesser charge than rape. So even if you wanted to charge a woman with rape, even if she rapes a guy, which if she has sex with him and he doesn't want to have sex with her, or he's underage and can't consent, it's rape. Oh, but it's not rape because she's a woman. So using that word rapey refers to men in a negative way, and I don't like it. And it's not a real word anyway. Stop using made-up words, you leftist cunt. Anyhow, she goes on to say that I must accept feminism. Come on, baby. You know you want it. But when challenged to actually discuss the merits of an actual feminist theory, and trying to make it sound scientific. It's just an ideology that's a bad ideology. It's based on false premises, so it's all a bunch of logical fallacies and contradictory arguments. They invariably run away crying and report me for harassment. It would almost be funny if it were not true. Consent, feminists, learn what it means. And number 7, women are capable, confident, and able to defend themselves, and no, that's not victim baiting. Nothing sends feminists into a rage fest quite like a demonstration of women refusing to hold others accountable for their own safety and well-being. Yeah, I've made this point before, okay? It's like you have a Lexus or a BMW. It costs like 50, 60 grand or more. And you go to a 7-Eleven in the middle of Harlem at 3 o'clock in the morning. And you go into the 7-Eleven, you leave the car door open, the keys in the ignition, and the car running. You go in for 5-10 minutes to buy your Slurpee, your Big Gulp, whatever, your Ho-Hos. And you come back out and expect your car to be there. I mean, what are you, stupid? Yeah, you have the right to be dumb. You have the right to leave your car door open. You have the right to leave the keys in the ignition. You have the right to leave the car going. So what? Should you do that? Should you take no responsibility? And not only take no responsibility, but do everything you can to ensure that a crime will be committed against you? Should you do those things? You have the legal authority to do so, but should you? Probably not. To continue, make it clear. What? So, quite like a demonstration of women refusing to hold others accountable for their own safety and well-being. Make it clear that you can hunt. What? Hunt? What is that? What is she talking about? Post evidence that you know how to... What does hunt have to do with anything? Hunt? It's very confusing, that sentence. Let's just skip that. So, post evidence that you know how to fight, that you're packing heat. Yeah, sounds like a good idea to me. Stay aware of your surroundings at all times. Why are there question marks, by the way? Nothing since feminism or rage press quite like demonstration of women refusing to hold others accountable for their own safety and well-being. There isn't really a lead-in to, like, what should you do to let other people, like people who might offend against you, know that you are able to defend yourself. But there's nothing like that. There's just this weird, totally out of context, make it clear that you can hunt. Doesn't make any sense, but I'm putting my own context to it. That's what she's talking about. Letting men know, other people know, people who might victimize you somehow know that you are able to defend yourself. For example, let them know that you know how to fight or that you're packing heat. Stay aware of your surroundings at all times and assume responsibility for your own security. And don't dress up in a bikini and walk around in Harlem or some other area where there's a high number of rapes. That might be a good idea. You're a victim. Blaming rape apologists, and feminists will let you know. Yeah, I'm victim blaming. No, I'm not victim blaming, but if you drive your freaking Lexus to a 7-Eleven at 3 o'clock in the morning, leave the car door open and the keys in the ignition, the car running, and you expect it to be there, then yes, you're partly to blame, you idiot. Everything from the teach men not to rape campaigns to don't be that guy to listen and believe. The always believe her narrative. I made a video about that. You might want to check my video library. The always believe her narrative. Yes, the fake rape accusations that, by the way, are as much as 20-25% of all rape accusations on average. That's a hell of a lot, which tells you how women misuse and abuse the system just to get back at men who have somehow in their mind wronged them. Assumes that women are not and cannot be responsible for their own actions. Ay, ay, ay. And, of course, must not be asked to offer any evidence for their claims. Oh, because women are always telling the truth, right? With as much as 25% or more of the time, they're lying. It's been proven. But we should just automatically accept what they say. So a quarter of the time, men who didn't do anything go to jail forever. Ooh, yeah, good idea. Yeah, men are responsible for the safety of women. Oh, but this was always coming down to it. Women don't have to take any responsibility. No. Don't dress more conservatively. Don't go out alone and walk home at 3 o'clock in the morning dressed in almost nothing in a bad neighborhood. No, don't do that. Well, no, go ahead and do that. Go ahead, do that. That's okay. Do it. And then when you get raped, you get victimized, blame men, don't accept responsibility for yourself. You have no responsibility whatsoever. It's all the man's fault, right? Yeah, there was no white knight there to rescue your, protect you. Right. That's the fault of the rapist, of course. Nobody should be raping women. But good God, lady, could you make some better choices? That's like saying, oh, geez, well, these waters are full of piranhas, but I'm just going to try and swim from this side of the river to the other side. And if the piranhas bite me, well, God damn it, it's their fault, not mine. Really? Okay. Goes on to say, remember, it's he for she, not we for all. How empowering. If men are responsible for my actions, should they vote for me too? Yeah, we should, because you guys shouldn't have the vote anyway. You haven't earned it. You don't even have to sign up for the draft, as this woman correctly pointed out. Assume responsibility for my financial affairs. That's what he should do. That's what they want, clearly. They want us to assume responsibility when things go bad, but when things are good, they assume responsibility. Interesting. My education? Sounds an awful lot like the mythical patriarchy to me. Well, that's... well, they want all the benefits, but none of the drawbacks of what you would have in a patriarchy. Of course! And it goes on to say, when feminists create safe spaces for adult women, replete with Play-Doh, coloring books, and cookies, I seriously question why any woman would identify as a feminist. You and me both. You and me both. But of course, their identities, their egos, their sense of self becomes tied up within that ideology, okay? And then Before you know it, that's all they see of the world. They see things through the lens of that ideology. So to them, that ideology is great, is wonderful. They don't see the negatives of it. They're lacking perspective. Feminists literally treat adult women like 3-year-olds. How does this empower you to make smart choices about your life? How does this embolden you to go after what you want? It doesn't. It doesn't at all. But it allows you to blame other people when you make mistakes, and then you never learn to take accountability for your actions, and you never learn from your mistakes, so you never grow as a person, which is why we have so many of these 40-year-old women running around with the mentality of a 7-year-old. They don't grow up because they don't have to. In conclusion, if feminists followed the dictionary, they wouldn't fear women against feminism. I knew it. I knew it. Women against feminism. So anti-feminist. Women against is anti. So she's an anti-feminist. She's just a chameleon. She's an egalitarian feminist, which is just feminism. She's just a feminist. She just objects to, why would anybody call himself? You're a feminist. The way you talk. You're against feminism. Third wave feminism. That's all. But you're perfectly fine with first and second wave feminism. And I guarantee you, you wouldn't give up any of the rights, nay, privileges that you didn't earn. They wouldn't, they wouldn't fear women against feminism and work so desperately to exclude them from the conversation about gender inequality. There is no gender equality. Men and women are different, you idiot. They would engage in debate and offer evidence for why feminism is better than whatever else is being proposed. Feminism is a joke. It's all about female superiority. It doesn't promote anything about equality, which, by the way, it can't anyway, because we're not equal. To begin with, the only way you can make us equal is to chop men down to your height. But they don't. They file false reports, claim abuse and harassment where none took place, and ultimately expose the heart of fascist, intolerant, hateful darkness at the core of feminism. Well, yeah, feminism is just Marxism, which is just communism, which is just socialism. That's all. Maybe women against feminism just need to offer feminist cookies and sippy cups. And maybe the women that are against feminism, who are actually feminists themselves, egalitarians, essentially, should give up egalitarianism and go back to the kitchen and bake me some fucking cookies and make me a sandwich. So what do you guys think of the points raised in this article? Right? Wrong? Let me know in the comments section. Please like and subscribe. Can always use those new subscribers. And feel free to donate to my Patreon. As little as $1 a month will enable me to make much more content for my channel. I'm the mgtowphilosopher, and I wish you a good day. Take care.